Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Rocket Punch Opinions, and in this one we're going to talk about a game that not many people have been talking about for a while, and for good reason too. That game is Anthem. Unlike some people, I still keep up with Anthem from here and there. I'm on their Reddit, and I decided I've still been following Christian Daly, the studio director over at BioWare that's still working, kind of leading the charge here for Anthem. And I was very surprised to see a new Anthem update from Christian Daly on the BioWare blog titled Loot and Equipment Goals. One thing that has just basically been awful from the start with Anthem, among many other things there. I decided, you know what, boom, let's go check it out, let's read this, and I was pleasantly surprised. I know this is a lot of early concept stuff, game in development for whatever Anthem 2.0 is going to be, but a lot of great cool stuff is in here. If you haven't had a chance, I'll put the link for the direct link to the blog in the show notes below. But it really, breaking it down, giving you guys the TLDR, it really breaks out a lot of the loot changes that they're looking to implement in here. Some of their goals are respecting your time and increasing the frequency of loot drops. Another goal is embracing choice, where you can pursue specific loot drops without worrying about like randomness, so getting them on quests, vendors, unique loot tables, things of that nature. Creating a rewarding loot experience, so loot feels more exciting and noticeable when it drops. You know, the endorphin release when you see the bing and the beam pops up and like drops on the ground and you're like, oh, I can't wait to get this sweet loot. And then also keeping it accessible, feeling and equipping the loot right away. I know for people that have, if you haven't played Anthem before, basically when you got loot, you had to wait until you got back to Fort Tarsus before you could even put the damn thing on. I mean, come on, what the hell's going on with that? That never made any sense. But I read this blog here, there's a lot of good stuff in here, and I was really excited. It really got me hyped up, like, man, I can't wait for Anthem 2.0. But then I really had to start to think, like, what's going on with this game? When is this update going to come out? Is it going to be an update? Is it going to be another full release? And really wanted to talk about, in my opinion, like, is Anthem able to come back from where it is? Now, I know people have talked about before, at least seeing online, that this is almost a very similar story to some other games we've seen before. Destiny comes to mind, No Man's Sky, a couple of games that, you know, especially No Man's Sky, where it came out, it was critically panned, people did not like it at all, and so it kind of fell off the grid, and then now, all of a sudden, it comes back years later, making a resurgence. They fixed all the problems they had enough time to put it in the oven, they corrected the problems and mistakes that they put in from the get-go, and now we got an awesome game that we can take away from. And that really makes me wonder, are we going to get that same thing with Anthem? I mean, if you didn't play at the start there, Anthem has been plagued with issues, not only with the loot, but also with gameplay. Everybody loved flying as Iron Man out throughout the world, but like things to do, the different gameplay loops in the dungeons, the way loot dropped, a lot of other things, performance issues and bugs. I mean, God, I swear I had Anthem at launch was probably the game in recent memory that I've had the most problems with trying to get booted up. I've had friends that have told me horror stories of them playing Anthem on their computers as well, and it's pretty rough. But I'm really curious if Anthem is going to be able to make a comeback. I mean, I really feel like people have just forgotten about Anthem. It's in no one's mirror. I appreciate Christian Daly, the studio director, and like their effort into going back in and continuing to make updates to these games to make them better and to get them to where, honestly, my opinion, they should have been in the first place. But I'm concerned. Like, I'm one of the few people that, from a gameplay loop, I really liked Anthem. There was just a lot of other stuff that needed to get fixed. And I understand completely that they more or less have had to take the game on hiatus, for lack of a better term, to try and get it to the point that it needs to be. But my big thing is when this 2.0, whether it's an update, a new game, whatever it is, number one, are people going to care when it comes out? Are the EA faithful and the BioWare faithful going to jump on this and say, oh yeah, I remember that game, it was so cool, I definitely got to jump back and get into this? Or is it too little too late, and they just have to be like, you know what, we don't care anymore, we've got new, better games that we can play, we're going to definitely play them. Number two, what is this going to look like? Are we going to get an update that basically attaches to the main game, Anthem 2.0, as we've been calling it? Are we just going to get an update that we download and put on our current systems and we're ready to rock and roll? Or is this going to be a brand new package? Because honestly, I think with the problems that Anthem had, I'm not going to be shocked if this is a brand new package. And if either way, you know, this opens up a whole other can of worms. Like, what does this mean for people who currently have Anthem, like me. Am I going to have to buy the game again when I was supporting the game at day one? That doesn't make any sense to me at all. Or are we going to get a discount on the price? Are we going to get it for free? What's going on with that? I think that it's really early to tell. Those aren't questions that I think have to be answered right now, but they are going to be questions that need to be answered if BioWare and EA want this game to be the success that they were hoping to be on the front end. And thirdly, what does this mean as a title going into the next generation of consoles? With the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 both coming out, I'm really concerned I'm hoping that they're looking forward to those next generations of consoles and actually building their game or their update or whatever for that bar. I think if it's a year or two down the road, that's fine. But if they come out and say that it's still running at PS4 or Xbox One states, there's no next gen upgrade, it doesn't, it looked pretty before, but if it's not upgraded with the ray tracing and the 4Ks and the 60 frames and all this other craziness on consoles, then I think immediately that's going to turn people off, especially that far into the next gen ecosystem. These are just a couple of concerns I have with Anthem and BioWare right now, and with this 2.0 update. I definitely, again, my opinion, I'm being very honest, I am super excited for what I saw with this loot and equipment update that Christian Daly popped out. A lot of the stuff that they're talking about doing and implementing into the game sounds like they're full steam ahead, right in the direction that I want them to be, and really putting the loot in the equipment system where I expected it to be at launch. My really concern is just, are people going to care about this game if or whenever this update comes out? Because I'll be honest, this update feels like it's going to be, if we're lucky, maybe late 2021, maybe definitely 2022 at the earliest, before we see any glimpses of this. And hopefully they're doing their due diligence to prepare this game for next generation and get it ready to go for these new people. Just, there's a lot of cloud and a lot of questions around 2.0 and what this entails. I'm just really curious to know and figure out what that's going to mean for us as gamers, especially for the people that paid for this game and have, whether you've enjoyed the game or not, you supported this from the gate. This is a BioWare property. This is a big studio for EA. And if anything, I'm really glad to see that EA is focused on supporting this game in the long run. They're not ready to say, oh, burn it to the ground, it's done, we can't revive it in any way. I think, if anything, I'm glad that No Man's Sky, Destiny, other examples like that have kind of motivated them to keep supporting this game. I'm just rooting from them in the back, go BioWare, go do it. And I'm really hoping, at least if they continue down this path and continue down what they've showed in the loot and equipment, it really shows that they're listening to the community, that they know what the people want out of this game, and they're, if anything, now they're taking their time to actually implement these fixes and put these features that should have been in there from the start back into the game. So hopefully whenever we see Anthem 2.0, it will be an enjoyable experience. But no, guys, what do you think? Do you think Anthem 2.0 is going to be great? Is it even in your radar? Are you even concerned? Or you think you're going to care about this game when Anthem 2.0 inevitably releases? Let me know in the comments here. Be sure to like and subscribe if you liked this video here. Thank you guys so much for supporting Rocket Punch. We will see you in the next episode.